I only buy new movies, new games, if I have been looking forward to it for a while,
Mm-hmm.
or there are so many people telling me that it's good and I have enough money to buy it. But when it comes to games, I don't want to waste my money. When it comes to movies, I don't want to waste my money. It's the reason why I don't go to the theater as much. When it first came out, it was a severe disappointment.
Back to another amazing episode of Blam Truckers. I'm Beas, that's Buse, and today we're talking about pop culture, where we're at, and specifically AAA gaming, retro gaming, and Disney Plus. Those are the three things that are going to be the topics of our conversation as we go a little bit back and forth on where we're at as culture. And the reason why those three things are our topic is because just this week, as of time of recording, I believe it was Forbes who put out an article explaining that Disney Plus has lost $30 billion. That's billion with a B. That's 9 zeros after it, not 6. $30 billion in the last 5 years. That's an average of $6 billion a year that they're in the hole on Disney Plus. That's a lot of money. AAA gaming is falling apart. People are not buying their games that they spend lots and lots of money on to put out. We're seeing this week a response to Star Wars Outlaws, and people are already retracting their pre-purchases. The best and the best of gaming is not getting the best and the best of our dollars. We haven't had a AAA gaming success since Hogwarts Legacy. Well, we might have had one or two. So we're not having huge wins in AAA gaming, and there's a lot of reasons for that.
One correction.
Please do.
I have the Forbes article in front of me. It's 11 billion.
It's 11 billion?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have the Forbes article right in front of me.
Because I don't know. It's been almost a week since I've read the article. 11 billion in 5 years. That's still 2 billion a year in the hole. More than 2 billion a year. 2 billion and a sixth. And when you say a sixth of a billion, please remember that that's what, $166 million. That's more than I make. That's a lot more than I make. So
that's more than I will make in my life.
Probably.
Most likely.
Unless we get a whole lot more truckers watching this show. Yeah.
Yep.
So, and thank you, by the way, to all you truckers out there who are watching the show. We do appreciate you guys. So, why? They've lost their customer base. We can acknowledge that. We're seeing that not only with Disney, though this is a stark reminder that entertainment is doing that. That film and media is doing, that's too broad of a term. Television and movies have lost their audience, their customer base. And now we're seeing gaming is losing its customer base. All of this is storytelling. This is story-based entertainment. This isn't sports, for instance, which is a very different kind of entertainment, where there's still a story, but it's the story of struggle and competition, and hopefully it's not pre-planned, unlike our last video on the WWE, which is staged. Hopefully, professional sports, besides pro wrestling, are not staged. To the best of my knowledge, they're not. But football, baseball, hockey, basketball, soccer, that's an entirely different kind of entertainment. And for the most part, it keeps politics out of it, which I honestly think is one of the issues here. People do not want politics in their entertainment. Or if they do, because there's always some people who are going to want it, I'm going to say the majority of people don't want politics in their entertainment. They like a bit of escapism. Life is hard enough already, honestly. With all the things we have to struggle with and pay attention to in real life. And as Americans, because we are both Americans, we have to keep abreast of all of these political issues so we can vote intelligently. So that's a lot to pay attention to and, keep in mind. I already have to deal with all that in real life, and that's just on the national level. Then I have to pay attention to politics on my local level, both in my city and my state government. I have to pay attention to the laws so I don't break any of them. That's enough of life. Taxes are due in a couple of days on the 15th, and we're recording on the 12th. So in 3 days, taxes are due. That's real life. I don't watch movies. I don't play video games to be reminded of real life. I play them and watch them to escape, to have an hour a day, maybe 2 hours non-sequential as an escape. And if this is your escape from reality, or at least part of it, I hope you're enjoying it too. I hope we can draw you a little bit out of reality and kind of look at things from a big picture thing and talk about geeky and nerdy stuff, which is where I'm going to lead this conversation into. So that's the premise. And they talk about people are making a move back to retro gaming. Now, I'm not saying Buse and I are trendsetters because I don't see anyone following us immediately, but we made the move to retro gaming years ago. Uh, the direction that then we made the move back to watching DVDs and older shows years ago because the direction that these films and movies and video games were going weren't all that appealing. They told us straight up back in 2016 with the Ghostbusters movie. They told us if you don't like it, it's not made for you. Don't watch. Okay. And that's the attitude I've been having. I'm not part of any official boycott of anything. I don't know if you're boycotting anything in particular. No?
No, just
Yes.
my belly.
We didn't do this as part of a boycott. We just realized I'm not interested in this. I don't like this. I don't want to spend money on this, so I'm not going to. I can spend my money on whatever I like, so that's what I'm going to do.
My research, for the most part, just consists of do people I know like it? Because if I'm going to spend my money,
Yeah.
because I will only buy new games, new movies,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't buy TV shows generally unless I really, really like them and want a chance to watch them again in case I ever go broke and can't afford a streaming service. I
I know that feeling.
only buy new movies, new games if I have been looking forward to it for a while,
Mm-hmm.
or there are so many people telling me that it's good and I have enough money to buy it. The last game I bought, like new, when it first came out, and actually it was a gift to me, but I was going to buy it anyways, was No Man's Sky. And while the game is fun now, when it first came out, it was a severe disappointment, and not for the reasons we're talking about here today, but it was a severe disappointment.
Did they release a beta?
No. Well, they did. Okay. They did release a beta. It was called when the game came out.
Yeah, that's another problem we're seeing with AAA gaming. We're going to get back to that. Go on.
But when it comes to games, I don't want to waste my money. When it comes to movies, I don't want to waste my money. It's the reason why I don't go to the theater as much, because unless I think it's worth the cost of literally a month to 2 months worth of a streaming service to go to a theater, there's no point. It's just literally a waste of money for me. And I differ and may disagree a little bit with Bees on it. I don't mind politics and stuff. I don't. I'm not saying like I don't mind politics as long as it's my own. No. I don't mind politics in general. I don't care if it presents opposite viewpoints to me, as long as it's done in a way that makes a solid story. I don't have to politically agree with the writers if it all makes sense and makes a good, entertaining story, because in the end, that's what I'm going for. I'm going for entertainment. If I wanted information, I would read a book, watch the news, pick up a newspaper. I'm not going to a movie to, find out the state of the political climate in, Europe. I'm going to a movie to watch. Now, maybe I'll get more out of it if I know current events
or historical events.
Or historical events. But I'm going there for enjoyment most of the time, unless it's a documentary. If you're putting stuff in there to be controversial, hey, as we've said before, all the power to any of the filmmakers and developers. If that's what they want to do, if they want to be controversial, that's fine. Not only will you reap the benefits of your risk, you will also reap the rewards or the loss of funds if it doesn't go over well. There is a saying
yeah.
that play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And it kind of goes just along with great risk comes the possibility of great loss or great reward. If what you're doing is failing, it might be time to not do it. Video games are one place that, for the most part, you've got to have a really, really good story if you're going to be putting a lot of politics in. A little bit makes sense because you got to build a world, especially if it's based somewhat off of our own world. Yeah, some stuff is going to come up naturally with characters you create. Our channel, one of the things we talk about the most is story. Story is important. You need story to keep your viewers, players, what have you. Whether you're a GM making a game, whether you're a developer making a video game, or whether you're Bob Iger or David Zaslav or Kevin Feige or whatever, putting out a new movie or TV show.
What was the thing I said we were going to circle back to? Do you remember?
Disappointing games, pretty much releasing them before they're ready.
Betas. Releasing a game as a beta. So I've done a decent amount of beta testing over the years. Not a lot in the last 10 years, but I was in the beta for World of Warcraft. I was in the beta for City of Heroes.
Star Wars The Old Republic.
Star Wars The Old Republic. And then there's the open beta, the weekend betas. I used to love to jump into a new game and play the beta. Star Trek Online. I not only were both of us in the beta because we bought the lifetime membership, but I wrote the first decent guide to Star Trek Online. That's most of it is no longer true, but that's because it's an ongoing game, an ongoing service game, or however they're putting it.
Every time I come back, it's something different.
They've changed a lot of so I did a thing on the crafting system, on the combat system. A lot of that combat system stuff stays relatively true, and a basic understanding of the game. But I've done a lot of betas. Betas are broken. They're a game that's almost ready to be released, but they need to find the bugs. That's why they put guys like me, guys like Buse, and girls, and everyone else in the world who wants to do beta testing. That's why they give those games to us, to let us try them out and tell them what's wrong, especially identifying where quests don't work, or where storylines are broken, or where you can't turn something in. That's small bug reports to the entire quest doesn't work. This doesn't work for me. And the beta is the opportunity to make sure the game is playing properly. It's not really going to change the story much, generally, unless it's an ongoing service game like an MMO. But it will allow them to fix these problems. And when you release a game as a beta, like World of Warcraft was released, World of Warcraft had a couple of classes in particular that were broken at release. They're not broken anymore, but they were broken at release. And when you release a game like that, which a lot of AAA gaming studios have been doing, is they've been releasing what is essentially a beta version of the product, not a final version of the product. And people don't want to pay a lot of money for a non-final version of the product. I want to be able to put it in, play it, and not have any problems beyond the challenge of the game itself. I don't want any technical problems after I pay good money, hard-earned money. I sound like my dad for a game. I should sound like my dad. I'm the same age he was when I was begging him for Sega Genesis games back in the day.
Speaking of that going back to where we got onto it with No Man's Sky, if you were to have bought No Man's Sky for the PS3, like on disc.
Wow, PS3.
If you were to told you,
mine's
since
right
I bought a game new. Mine's right there. If you were to bought No Man's Sky on PS3 on disc, or probably on Xbox 360 as well. No, it wasn't for Xbox 360, I don't think. The game would work if you put it in there. But day one patch completely changed it. So even the stuff that they shipped out to stores was completely different than what you would get after it patched up. Like literally, the way that the game worked and everything. Back in the day when we grew up, games were on cartridges or CD-ROM, and we didn't have internet. Or if we did not. There we go. Or if we did, it wasn't high-speed internet. Games now are built with the intent of patching them. They just have to somewhat work because, hey, well, they'll just be able to patch it up later. But you know what the problem with that is? Unfortunately, it means that you can be stuck with a game that in the end no longer works. If
Mm-hmm.
it needs to be patched to work, but then the company goes under, if they stop having like that server available for you to patch it, that means you've got to at best mod the file and hope someone's got an original version of that patch that you can put onto there, which doesn't work nearly as well with consoles as it does with PCs. Or you have a game that if your hard drive crashes, you'll never be able to play again.
Oh yeah. So speaking of, you mentioned you don't buy movies much anymore, and I haven't bought a lot over the last couple of years, but
Mm-hmm.
am a firm believer in owning a hard copy of your media.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I like digital media, um, and I do. I love
Oh, yeah.
streaming stuff. I love YouTube. Um, Even some of these movies I'm about to show you guys. This is just on the nearest pile of DVDs to me. Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice. I had a hard time finishing that movie, but I wanted to make sure I had a copy of it so they couldn't change it on me either. The Peanuts movie, awesome. Highly recommended this. Captain America, Civil War, still in its original wrapper. I've only seen this movie once, and that was in the theater. And I love going to the theater. Haven't really had a reason to go in a while, but I do love going. Inside Out, bought this on Black Friday a few years back. X-Men, what is this one? Days of Future Past. Have not seen this movie. Still need to watch some of these.
So far, all the movies you've shown are on Disney Plus.
The Wolverine, which is now on Disney Plus.
Batman v Superman's on Disney Plus right now too.
That's weird, but okay. Couple
If you have
seasons of
Hulu,
the
at least.
Arrow, complete first season of The Flash, one of my favorite superhero series. At least the first season.
Fair enough.
It was great in the first season of Arrow. I told you I had it right here.
Mm-hmm.
What's this one? I told you. One of the things. X-Men Apocalypse, another movie I haven't seen yet.
Well, I kind of assumed since you hadn't seen Days of Future Past.
I don't know what order they go in either. So, and of course, I have my copy of Burn Notice. If you want to see a great Fantastic Four show that doesn't actually star the Fantastic Four, this movie, this TV show got it right.
I still haven't
Fair
finished
enough.
last season of that.
Fair enough. It was a good show. And the correlation, Michael West is Mr. Fantastic. Jesse is the Thing. Sam Axe, even though he's the oldest character, is Johnny Storm. And Fiona is probably the least direct correlation to the Invisible Woman, but at least when she starts out. But by the end of but once the Invisible Woman accepts the fact that she's a superhero and really starts putting her mind into it, there's a lot of correlations between her and Fiona. Anyway, I'm not ready right now to spend money, but the audience is still, the customers didn't die off. We're still alive. We still want to buy geeky stuff. Okay? I've got, my classic example here is is Death Watch Mando, who has featured prominently tonight. But I've also got my Clone Trooper Lego guy right here. We love this stuff. We love having this stuff. The stories touch our lives. We're going to want little memories of it. Because when I see these guys, I think of some of the amazing stories and adventures I've had just sitting in my chair or sitting in a movie theater. And that makes me happy just seeing that stuff. I got another one for you right here. I haven't shown you guys this one yet.
By the way, apparently I lied. Batman v Superman's not on there. Wonder Woman is, though.
I got this from Ollie's. I have two of these. I had 4, but I gave 2 to him. I got them for they weren't even $15.99, which is the price here. They were $10 a box. So it was gotta love Ollie's. Gotta love these discount stores. Listen, we'd love to spend the money. We love this stuff. We enjoy it. We love arguing about it back and forth. And seeing it, and the fact that it's not for me anymore kind of hurts, but I've accepted it. It's okay. I've seen this. We've talked about this. I've seen this a lot in my life, starting with any time they changed the creative team on a comic book I was collecting. Silver Surfer in particular, which is topical for this week, as I am not the biggest Silver Surfer fan in the world, but boy, did I love that comic book. Yeah, we're here. We want to spend money. Anybody over at, I do this pitch to DC all the time, and I'm doing it again right now because we're out of time. David Zaslav or anybody over at Time Warner Discovery, whatever you guys feel like calling yourselves, I'm more than happy to call you whatever you want to be called. I have lots of ideas for movie pitches for your DC superhero movies. Lots of ideas. I'd love to pitch some for you. And it would bring back customers like me, hopefully, if they like what I like, it will bring back customers like me who want to spend the money on these things, who want to enjoy, to have little mementos all around them of the great joy they had enjoying these stories. I'd love to do that for you guys. Give me a call. Shoot me a text through YouTube or our Facebook page. Yeah, and keep on trucking, you Blam Truckers.